So, you guys, I think I'm finally going to read A Little Life. If you've been here for a minute now, if you've watched the last few videos, you know that I read 2 books this year back in January. I had a 30 book reading goal, and yeah, I've only read 2 whole books. You also know that I started a few books and did not finish those books. So here we are. I have lots of books, but I don't read. But I'm trying to read, and I'm trying to get out of this reading slump, which I think is going to happen, hopefully. So, as the intro said, I am reading A Little Life by Hanya Yanagahara. Wow, I got that on the first try. Hanya Yanagahara, A Little Life. This book has been everywhere. It's been all up and through Book Talk, BookTube. People tend to have a very visceral reaction to this book. And I am told that it will have you crying. It's trauma corn. It's all of these terrible things. But also people keep saying things like, oh yeah, I read it, but I would never read it again. Or, oh, I don't recommend it to anyone, but wow, it's a great book, or it's a bad book, or it's a lot, or it's all of these things. A couple of people have said, oh yeah, I DNF'd it twice or 3 times. So that means you try to read it 3 times. So you kept going back to it. People are attracted to this book. The people who read this book, most of them probably don't regret reading this book. They probably actually enjoyed the book in a way where it made them feel something, but they don't want to admit it. So they tell other people, no, don't read the book. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people who don't like it. I'm not saying there aren't people who really think that it's horrible. I'm saying that the people who have read this book that don't recommend it to you are really recommending it to you. That's what I believe. But nobody wants to inflict pain or trauma on someone else. And based on what I've heard, I believe that's what this book does. Anyway, I had always planned on reading it. I don't read things or not read things because people read them or don't read them, or because other people like them or don't like them. So for me, it was never a matter of if I was going to read the book or at least attempt to read the book. It was always going to be a matter of when. Okay, so SD card full. It's so weird because I don't often have to change or empty my SD card because I typically film on my phone, but I had to do that just now. Noted. I will do better. I have read 28 pages of this book. If you don't know what A Little Life is, it follows 4 college classmates broke adrift and buoyed only by their friendship and ambition as they move to New York in search of fame and fortune, while their relationships, which are tinged by addiction, success, and pride, deepen over the decades. The men are held together by their devotion to the brilliant, enigmatic Jude, a man scarred by an unspeakable childhood trauma. A hymn to brotherly bonds and a masterful depiction of love in the 21st century. Hanya Yanagahara's stunning novel is about the families we are born into and those that we make for ourselves. Now, this is my first time actually reading the blurb on the back. And in the first 28 pages, you totally get the family aspect, the brotherhood, the friendship aspect of the book. There are certain books that you read and they evoke a certain feeling. I was telling my daughter this earlier today. They evoke a certain feeling. And this, upon reading the first 28 pages, I'm getting the same tone and the same style of writing to a certain extent that I got when I read The Secret History. It's evoking that same feeling, right? You know that it's going to probably turn dark at some point. You know that something is happening in the book, but it's setting up those bonds. It's setting up, sometimes the bonds are unbreakable, even if people try to break them. Sometimes the bonds are breakable, but you know that these characters still maybe cared for each other or had some sort of connection. some sort of deep connection. And that's what I'm getting. Right now, the only two books that I could think of that have evoked this same emotion from the beginning, Secret History, and I'm going to insert the other book because I can't think of it right now, but tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. That's the other book. It's a book about video games. But yeah, the way that the friendship was set up, the friendships were set up in that book, very similar. And it's what made me keep reading. Like, I had a hard time putting this down. First of all, anyone who says that this book is not written very well or is written poorly or it's a trash book, I don't think they're reading it from a literary standpoint. I didn't get that. I don't get that at all from the beginning. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't change. You know, we got a lot of pages here. Maybe what was said in these many pages could be said in less pages. I don't know. However, so far what I've read, I'm loving the descriptions. I was again telling my daughter while we were at brunch, I guess you would call it. I was telling her, I was like, the setup for how you feel about the characters and how the characters feel about each other, it's very legit. It's a genuine portrayal of friendship, even down to them having inside jokes. These things are noted in the first 28 pages of the book. There is no question that the people that we're talking about care about each other or have a connection. And I guess because I don't necessarily read for the outcome that I want, I read for the story that I'm being presented. I'm being told a story. I have to know who the characters are, so I'm being introduced to them. First 28 pages, I'm riveted because I'm like, okay, these people seem interesting. I am still deciphering who's who, but for the most part, they seem very interesting, and I want to know more. And because the lore around the book is here, you can't avoid that or escape that. You know something else is coming. And people don't talk about a lot of the details in the book, which I'm so grateful for. I think that's what ruins a lot of books for people. We talk way too much about what is actually happening in the book, the details, all of the goriness and everything that you should be learning by reading the book. So the fact that I have context to a certain extent, but no details, is wonderful. I have deliberately avoided any spoilers for the book, deliberately avoided listening to anybody who chooses to talk too much about the book, good or bad. And I've done that because now that I know that things are coming that may be unsettling, that may hurt my feelings, that may be really hard to read, it gives me something to look forward to. This is not a reading vlog. This is just me catching you up on the fact that I have picked up a book, y'all. I have picked up a book. I have picked up what, was at one point the book. If I do get through this, I feel like the combination of the lore surrounding it, the controversial nature of the book, and all of the crazy opinions around this book, as well as the writing and the story, I feel like it's all a perfect storm for a book to pull me out of a book slump. Now, it's a risk because people have read this book and it has put them in a book slump. Hopefully we'll make it to the end and I can break this book slump or this reading slump. And if not, we'll keep pushing. But I just wanted to let you in on what is going on, what I've been reading. I've taken this big leap. So we'll see how it goes. All right, subscribe if you want to know more, if you want to see if I get out of the reading slump. We'll see. A little life. Hanya Yanagahara.